Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time doing a King of the Hill episode review, and this one is on Bad News Bill. Now, as you know, with King of the Hill getting a revival, I decided to review one of my personal favourite episodes from season 13, which was Bad News Bill, which was the 16th episode of the 13th season, right before the series came to a permanent end, and yeah, a couple years later, we would get season 14. And the best way I would sum up about the episode Bad News Bill is a cautionary tale about not giving people too much encouragement. You need to kind of be realistic about their sort of progress as well as their potential, as well as being careful, obviously, not to kind of crash and burn them. And the whole premise of the episode is meant to be about Hank, who decides to kind of get Bobby into a new baseball youth program, and we kind of see how, given Bobby's track record with his baseball skills, I think Hank obviously knows Bobby isn't really cut out for kind of baseball sports. Bobby thinks he has that potential, but Hank actually has to kind of see that Bobby isn't really baseball material. But we kind of see how, yeah, the sort of new baseball coach at that new facility, known as Coach Bradford, does does foolishly see Bobby's potential and pushes him to be his best. And right away, we do see how Coach Bradford treats Hank more like the bad guy and calls him horrible things like being unsupportive and all that. You could kind of get this sense right away that Coach Bradford is more the guy who wants to be in the right, but is easily misguided. And you do see there's a difference between Hank and Coach Bradford's methods with Bobby. Hank has to be realistic with Bobby and make sure that he doesn't see him crash and burn. Coach Bradford wants to believe that Bobby has that potential to go the distance, but what he's seeing is a copy and paste version of what he wants. And this does kind of give you implications that Coach Bradford might have had a father who never really supported him, and it's clear that he's trying to kind of point that at Hank. But we do see how Hank has to kind of make sure that Coach Bradford doesn't kind of see Bobby crash and burn. I think it's one of those episodes that definitely holds up well, because I think it's one of those moments where you have to be realistic with people before they set themselves for a hard fall or end up crashing and burning. I mean, people have other potential, but it's just not that certain thing that they're meant for. Well, Coach Bradford is meant to be an example of how people want to see the potential in people, but what they're seeing is a copy and paste version of what they truly want to believe to see. It shows you the dangers of giving too much encouragement. You need to kind of see things from other people's perspectives, and it's one of those examples where if you're kind of seeing what you want to see, then you might end up making the situation worse. And as soon as the game comes, it really just shows you that Coach Bradford just doesn't want to see Bobby as a lost cause or the game as a losing battle. It's clear that Coach Bradford wants to believe that he's helping Bobby, but what he's doing is crashing and burning him, which no one should ever do. I think it's one of those episodes that holds up well. It definitely tells a straightforward hard truth moral about not being too supportive and encouraging, but you also need to kind of be realistic with some people's skills and abilities. So it definitely deserves a thumbs up. Still good and still alright. So, comic book reviewer here, signing out.